Hello, hello. Okay, my last video was on truck emergency gear, and I left this out because it was charging. So I'm going to make it part of this video, which is going to be on what I would add for wintertime. Thanks, Glenn, for asking that question. So let's get started. All right, on this is a battery-operated Impact. And this is an 18-volt lithium-ion impact gun by Ryobi. It comes, obviously, with the battery, the bag, a charger, and then I purchased a separate socket for my lug nuts. I drive a Silverado 1500, and I tried 3 other impacts before this one, and they just weren't strong enough to break the lug nuts free on my truck. So if you're shopping around for something like this, you might want to keep that in mind. Make sure whatever you purchase has a good return policy. So if it doesn't work for your particular vehicle, you can take it back. It's always wise, in my opinion anyways, to buy the biggest volt that you can afford. The higher the volts, the more expensive these things get, also by brand name. So I'm not really a big fan of Ryobi products, and that's been up until recently. I have bought a weed whipper by them, which has been incredible, works fantastic, and then this Impact. Usually I lean toward DeWalt, Craftsman, certain other brands, name brands, but this has surprised me. This thing works really, really well. It's extremely heavy. Just holding the Impact itself, it's extremely heavy, and I do believe this is a brushless model too. So very, very good piece of kit there. So that's going to go in there, and that'll be in there year-round. I'm not worried about it freezing up the battery in the wintertime with the lithium ion. I've really had no trouble since I've stored it in my vehicle. Alright, so the obvious next thing is a good pair of boots. So these are just a pair of Merrell hiking boots with the Vibram soles. They got really nice soles. And they're very lightweight hikers. I don't always wear boots in the wintertime. I mean, sometimes you run out to the store, or you think you're just going to make a quick trip, or you run into a friend's house and you just have your tennis shoes on or something. But accidents can happen at any time, so I want to make sure I have a good pair of boots. And then I have a pair of smart wool socks in here. Not too thick, because if they're too thick, then the boots won't fit and then they'll be uncomfortable. But Smart Wool is an inexpensive brand of wool socks, and they work really, really well. So along those lines, I've had frostbite on my toes before, so I want to really make sure that I protect my toes. So the next thing that I'm going to add is probably the obvious, which is toe warmers. Hand warmers, toe warmers. Gotta have them. Now the cool thing about these were in the local dollar section of my Ace Hardware store, and so you have some that work for 6 hours, there's some that work for 8 hours, the hand warmers say 10 hours, and they even have body warmers now and long full insoles for inside your boots that'll last up to, I think they have 8, 10, and 12 hours. The body warmers I think even stick to you. You can like peel off the backing and stick them to your back. So pretty cool. They're coming up with some more inventive ideas. These are so inexpensive too. You can find variety packs of these on Amazon or Strictly Toe or Strictly Hand or whatever you want at a decent price. If you rip one open, shake it up, and it don't work, toss it. You can try another one. Every once in a while you get a dud. But these things are invaluable. I mean, they work so well. Alright, with my boots, I'm also going to throw in a good pair of spikes. These are a good pair of spikes. I got these years ago off of Amazon, and the spikes themselves are made with this steel. I don't know what steel it is, but it's incredibly hard, incredibly tough. I've walked across cement, asphalt with them before getting to the ice. They haven't bent. I use them for work. They just work amazingly well. They're so simple. They just slip over your boot in the front, and then you just pull them over the back of your heel with this tab, and they work really, really well. So the reason I'm going to keep them in my vehicle, not only for work, but if you go somewhere and it's icy and stuff, you don't want to break your neck and crack your head open, so they come in handy. Now if I was going to take a really, really long trip somewhere, I might bring my snowshoes. So again, you got to plan ahead for whatever trip it is that you're going to take. I would also add this, which is, this is a pack of thermal underwear. It's Cold Proof brand. It's a pretty good brand. They're rather inexpensive compared to some other brands. You get a top and a bottom, and then I also added this is a -33 brand Smart Wool top. It's about a medium weight. And these can get quite costly. I mean, you can get into 80, 100, 120 bucks for, you know, high quality Arctic type heavyweight Smart Wool tops. I think this was around 40, maybe 50 bucks. So it was worth it. It works really, really well. It's quite warm. So that's definitely going to stay on the inside of my truck, so I have access to it with my boots and stuff. Then this is a pretty obvious addition, but a snow brush. And I like the snow brush because I have a truck, and it's extendable. It extends up to 50 inches. It's got your scraper, your brush, and then you just click it, and it locks into different positions with these holes up to 50 inches, which ain't gonna make it on my camera. But and then the cool part too is the brush. It swivels and it turns into a broom, so you can sweep the stuff off your hood and off your roof and stuff, instead of blowing it on the car next to you when you're driving. I hate when people do that. But a snow brush for sure. And also in the back of my truck, to go with that snow brush, which I didn't bring in the house, I have a shovel, which was in the previous video, and an extra blanket. But I also have a container of salt. You can also use kitty litter. You can use a variety of things to help you get out if you're stuck. Salt, kitty litter, you can try using your floor mats. You can use carpet remnants. You think out of the box. You can use bark off of a tree if it's thick enough. You can use tree branches with bark on them to help you. There's all kinds of different things you can try to give you some traction in the wintertime. Okay, so the next thing is my first aid kit. Now, when I grabbed my first aid kit, I was sitting in the driver's seat of my truck, and I was thinking to myself, well, what if I got into an accident and I was pinned and I couldn't get out of my driver's seat? What would I want next to me? And so the first thing is, in my driver door, in the cup holder, I have a personal-sized fire extinguisher. I plan on getting a bigger one, but something's better than nothing. And so if something were to happen and the truck started on fire and they didn't get to me immediately, at least I could try to save myself some pain. I'm also thinking to get one of those fire blankets. They sell them on Amazon, variety of sizes and prices. I think they start at like 20 bucks. And then overhead, in my visor, I have a visor organizer that's strapped securely to it. And inside that, I have 2 spring-loaded punches to break the window. In case the door's pinned, I'm not, but the door's pinned and I want to get out. And if my battery's dead or my windows won't roll down, I have 2 good punches. The spring-loaded punches are amazing. I mean, you push them up against the lowest corner of the window and push, and they shatter, they break. Don't test them out on your finger like I did. I wanted to see just how strong that spring was. So I pushed it against my thumb, put a hole through my thumb, and it was messed up for like 4 days. So don't do that. Okay, so then in the console next to me, I want to have my first aid kit in case I'm injured. So what's in this first aid kit is, there's a boo-boo kit on the outside for scratches and stuff like that. But on the inside, there's chest seals. There's a, wow, my mind just went blank. Tourniquet. There's blood soakers, blood stoppers. There's just all kinds of stuff in there for trauma. So that's going to be right next to me in my console. And that'll be in there for year-round, but you definitely don't want to have a massive bad injury you can't treat in the wintertime if you're stuck on the side of the road. Or in a ditch somewhere, or in the mountains, or any number of places. Okay, next thing along those lines, communication. Most people have a cell phone, and you know, that's great as long as the thing is fully charged, as long as you have reception, as long as there's no major disaster going on and everybody's on their phone. Something to keep in mind depending on your trip, where you're going, weather, all that kind of stuff. But another alternative thing is you can go on Amazon and they sell handheld CB radios if you don't want to install one in your vehicle. So that's another form of communication. And then you have this, which is a ham radio. Do you have to be licensed for these? But I'm not. I should be, but I'm not. But I have it programmed. I can get weather on it. I can hear other people's conversations. And if I'm in a life or death situation, I'm going to use it to get help, and I'll pay the fine later. But it's just, a backup. I thought about getting the handheld CB radio. I don't know. I'm still toying around with that idea. If I don't get licensed on the ham, which I probably should, though, because I have it. If you don't have a cell phone, or you're trying to put together a budget kit or a backup, you can get cell phones from like dollar stores, and I think they even sell them at Walmart and stuff, the pay-as-you-go type. They're not ungodly expensive. You pay a certain amount of money for a monthly card. I don't even think you have to buy the card every month, but you can buy like, say, 20, 25 bucks to get so many minutes for 30 days. And if you don't use it, it expires, but it's there, And I think you can, they don't have GPS in them as far as I know. They're analog, but you can make phone calls and you can text on them. So again, just another budget option for you, because your cell phone's not always going to work. Depends on where you're going. All right. Next up is, let's do this next. This is something new I'm going to try this year. So it's kind of an experiment, and we'll see how it goes. I usually store my water inside the vehicle. I have them in the cup holders. I have a 6 or 12 pack in the back of the cab of my truck, where the dog now currently resides. So I kind of want to take them out of there because there's so much other stuff in there. I've run out of room. So I thought this year I would try this little experiment. In the back of my truck, in the previous video, you could see there was a bag that had 3 different sections in it, and it's a grocery bag I got off Amazon. And it keeps your groceries from sliding to the back of your pickup truck. And this fits in there perfectly. I couldn't believe it. I turned it outside, turned it sideways, and just an Igloo personal cooler, and I'm filled it up. So I put a couple cans of chunky soup in here. You can get 2 meals out of each can. And then 6 bottles of water. I'm still going to have bottles of water inside the cab, again, in case I'm trapped or whatever. But I'm going to try this out to see if it freezes or not. If it does and explodes, it's in the container, so I ain't got to worry about a huge mess. But I'll be curious to know if this will work without freezing it, because it's insulated. So we'll see. But again, some food, some water. So along those lines, now inside the cab with me, I'm going to have a couple of these Knorr noodles and sauce. They have rice and sauce, whatever your preference is. They're very inexpensive, $1.25 a bag. You get 2 servings out of a bag. And it's great. And you can rehydrate these with just water if you're in survival mode. I mean, if you're using these for dinner, add milk, because they taste horrible. They're edible. They don't taste nearly as good without the milk in it. You can also get powdered milk, though, for your kit, depending on your lifestyle, if you're a hiker and what you do and whatever, but you can survive on these. Now there's also some other additions. I haven't been to the store yet, but my staples for my wintertime survival in my truck are 2 bags of Sweet Baby Ray's beef jerky. Amazing stuff. If you haven't tried it, give it a try. When I first tried beef jerky, I hated it. It was tough. It was stringy. I didn't enjoy it. I'm like, I don't know how people can eat this crap. But, again, everybody's got their different preferences. If you like it, that's great. But when I tried the Sweet Baby Ray's, it's soft jerky. It's like eating ribs. I mean, it's got that little bit of tug to it, but oh my God, it's incredible. And if you like Sweet Baby Ray's original sauce, it tastes just like it. It's very good. So I get a couple bags of that, and then I get a box of Nature Valley sweet and salty bars. They come in a variety. You get peanut or almond or cashews. You can get them with peanut butter, which is what I get, or they have them with chocolate or dark chocolate. They have a nice variety of different kinds of bars, but I find them very filling. Kind bars are really good too. They're sweet versions with they have all different kinds. But Kind bars are really good too. So that's what I'm gonna do for food. But now you're like, well, you got this stuff. How are you gonna rehydrate that? How are you gonna, you can just throw it in water and leave it sit forever. But I'm kind of impatient, so My next part of my kit is my Jetboil. These things are amazing. They're ungodly expensive, but they're amazing. And, you know, they're self-contained. You have everything in here you need. Your gas is in here. I put salt and pepper in there. There's a lighter in there. There's plenty enough room. The lid's a strainer. I got my spoon tucked into the side there. It's all nice, contained little system. This is my second one. Another thing I'm going to get is some hot chocolate, because that'll be really good. And I like that anyways. If I'm out hiking and stuff, I can pop over my car when I'm done and have a nice hot chocolate. But you can cook your chunky soup in here, heat it up. You can make your noodles and sauce in here. Just great versatility. These come in different sizes too if you can afford these. The Sumus and stuff, really big ones, they can get quite expensive though. But what a purchase. This thing's lasted me for years. The first one lasted me a really long time too. But that's a great addition. Okay, so my next thing on the keeping of warmth is this SOL Bivvy. Now this is way better than the little tiny ones that do work, but that'd be more for me for like a summertime thing. This is the thermal version, the thermal Bivvy. You can see, I wish I had my other one with me so you could see the size comparison. It's quite a difference in the size comparison. And this is going to be great with my clothing, with my, you know, my thermals and everything. This should keep me plenty warm. So I've got this. And I also have a small sleeping bag. A really small compact travel sleeping bag, and I don't know what happened to it. It was in my vehicle and now it's not in there. I gotta find it. I must have used it and forgot to put it back when I was camping. So, and it's not much bigger than this, a little bit bigger, so it adds a little bit more warmth. So I like to throw that back in there too, you know. And you never know if you're traveling by yourself or if you got somebody with you. You have some extra supplies for someone else as well. And on those lines, the other thing that I add is hat and gloves. Love these hats. These hats are amazing, but I cannot wear this hat unless it's 30 degrees or colder because it's just too damn hot. It is just hot. I mean, I keep a baseball hat in my truck as well, but this, you can get these off of Amazon. They're relatively inexpensive, and the warmth they give, it's my favorite hat. I just love this hat in the wintertime. It keeps me so warm. And then just a pair of gloves. These just happen to be Heat Lock brand. I got them off of Amazon. I have tons and tons of different gloves. So these are just a pair I leave in the vehicle. I have mechanics gloves in there too, but they're a little thinner. But so if I had to change a tire, I'd probably use the mechanics gloves. But these will keep you nice and toasty warm. And okay, my last item and my most favorite item, my woolly mammoth wool blanket. I love this thing. This is awesome. I didn't buy this just for the emergency use in my truck. I bought it because I use it all the time. I use it camping. I use it at home on the couch. I use it when I have people over. It's just very versatile and it's worth every penny. It was 80 bucks. So it's not the cheapest one and it's not the most expensive one. Because the wool blankets, high quality wool blankets, can get very costly, into hundreds of dollars. And there's tons of great brands out there. I just happen to be a big fan of the Woolly Mammoth Company. I love the blankets. I have another one too, a tan one, and it works amazingly well. Now, I don't know if you can get these anymore, because I know a couple subscribers wanted to buy these off me, but I won't sell them. I won't part with them. They were investment. But they do make, I think, the farmhouse ones. I think they're around the same price. But again, it's just a great company, great build quality. They don't pill up real bad like the cheaper ones do. I bought a couple of those that you see like on Amazon and eBay where they're green. They say Army across them, and they're actually a kind of a generic version of the military brand, but they're not real. As soon as you use them a few times, the entire thing is just covered in those little balls, the little pills or whatever. And they just don't hold up very well. They fall apart. They don't come out well. Some of them you can wash and they didn't come out well. So for me, it's worth every penny that I spent. And wool will keep you wet, or warm, excuse me, even when wet. That's funny. I've shot this video so many times. I'm losing my place of where I left off. I've had so many problems with camera issues, people issues, dog issues. It's amazing. So, okay, just a couple of quick tips, and then I'm going to get off here. We went over the phones that you can get. Now, when you're building these kits, you don't have to spend a ton of money. You don't have to buy stuff just to sit in a truck just for an emergency. You can use stuff that you have around your home. Take stuff in and out for the season or whatever. But plan according to your trip. How far you're going, what the weather conditions are like, who's going with you. Obviously, the more people and the longer the distance you're going, the more supplies you're going to need in case of an emergency. And it does happen. There's those stories out there about people who get stranded and they're having to live out of their car for 8 days and they survive, and some who don't make it. They don't survive. Especially people who leave their vehicles. I don't recommend you leave your vehicle unless you absolutely have to. Your vehicle's on fire. Your vehicle's going to be on fire. You're so far into a remote area under trees and stuff and so far out in the boonies that nobody's ever going to find you. Those would be different situations, but general rule, it's easier for people to find you if you're near your car. If you have ways to start a fire to draw attention to yourself, whether it's flares or starting a fire or burning rubber, anything you can do. But plan according to your trip. If you're just going to mom and dad's, and they're, relatively close, chances are you slide off the road, people are going to stop and they're going to help you. I mean, I've never seen an accident where people haven't stopped, and I've never seen somebody skid off the road where somebody hasn't stopped to help. But again, the more remote and the farther the distance and also the time of day or night can impact your chances of survival. So now, if you're going to do a budget kit, just start out with your basics. A shovel, some sand or some kitty litter, that stuff works great. And some blankets. I would throw in some food and some water too, just some basic minimal gear, and build up from there. You can get really cheap, inexpensive stuff though from like flea markets, Salvation Army stores, garage sales, dollar stores. Friends and family might have stuff they're not using. Even your local community. My local community, the township center, has an area where they have piles of sand, piles of gravel, piles of wood chips for in the summer and stuff, but it's all free. You can go back there and load up all the sand you want. And so it doesn't cost you a dime. You can use, like I said, sand, kitty litter. You can use carpet remnants for traction. You can use the floor mats in your vehicle for traction, depending on what kind they are. Think out of the box. You can use tree bark. You can use branches with bark on them. There's so many different things you can shove between your tire and that snow or ice to try to help give you some traction. I carry a little bucket of salt in the back of mine. I didn't bring it in the house though because I didn't want to get that on my floor and it kind of spills all over the place. But also keep in mind too that during the wintertime, at some point, and maybe not for you, but my battery has died when my truck was even brand new. I think I had my truck a year, and the battery completely died, dead on a doornail. I had to get the dealer to replace it for free because I got a dud. But it can happen. So if you're out there in the wintertime with or without an accident, your battery dies, you got no heat. You have no heat, and it's going to get cold in that car fast. So you want to think about that too. I also have I forgot to put in here, is a survival candle. It's 3 wicks. It's by Coghlan's. It comes in like a little sealed tin can. And that'll give you some heat in your vehicle, and you can also heat up food off of it. You want to be careful though burning any type of candle in your car because obvious dangers of that, spilling hot wax on yourself, starting a fire, burning yourself. You can put them in a coffee can to kind of help, but again, the coffee can will get hot. So you want to be real careful about that, but in an emergency situation, if you need heat, those little candles, they do throw off some heat to them. Okay, so get your winter gear set up for however far you're going, who you're going with. Keep in mind, if you've got kids, if you're bringing your pets, if you have elderly members in your family, you want to pack extra supplies. Trust me, you don't want to lose your mind. Kids, pets, and elderly, you got to have something for them to do. You got to have something. Give grandma a crossword puzzle book. Give the kids a toy, give the dog a bone. You got to have something to keep them busy, because if you're trying to figure something out, they're going to drive you nuts. Pack extra food and extra water and something to keep everybody warm. Have plenty of things to keep them warm. Just a tip of mine, only because I've been in an accident in that situation before, and they will drive you insane with the questions, and you're trying to figure out what to do next. Okay, so that's pretty much my rant. If you have any questions or comments, let me know. Any suggestions, helpful tips, supplies, anything, put it down in the description. Share it. Hopefully my other subscribers would probably like that information as well. I don't cover every single contingency in these videos. Just some extra gear I throw in. I have a ton of gear. I'm a gear girl. So this might be overkill to you. You do what's comfortable for you and your family. And hopefully everybody makes it through the winter time safe. I hope this video was informative. Sorry, I'm getting tired. I've shot this video like 15 times. I hope you got something out of this video. Okay, if you liked it, click the like button. If you want to help the channel out, click the little heart with the $ in it and make any kind of donation. I think that's what that's for. That would be really appreciative. And I have got some more videos coming. I think my next one up is going to be a review of a flashlight, which also goes in this kit. But I'm not showing you. You're going to have to watch the next video. So when it gets dark, I'll be doing that one. So take care. I appreciate you staying tuned. I hope this was helpful. Take care.